Alright, we are live. So what I'm going to do from now on, anytime you see the green logo next to the title of the video, it's live. Anytime it's blue or red or some other color, it will be the replay. So yeah, I thought I'd do that. So green means we're live. Hey, Quinton, Kenny, Tupelo, Stefano. Wow, people, that was fast. That was really quick. Let me pause my stream. I take it you can hear me okay. Everything looks good on this side, so I think we're good. Kid Mason, how are you? We've got Parish Family, Mac. 333, what's up? Josh, howdy. Alright, so I thought I'd go over a bit about what's going on the channel and take some Q&A and all that kind of stuff as well. So as of right now, I had to restore my main workstation editing computer. So the Guitar Search Saturday got about 3/4 of the way through, and then I had to basically stop it. So well, I had to fix it up. Anyway, it's nearly back to full health, which is good. So I'll have that up pretty soon. All right. Wow. Lots of folks here already. So. What we're planning on doing with the channel up until Christmas, it'll essentially be over 50 videos in 50 days, which is crazy. I don't know why I decided that was a great idea. But I thought I would do videos every day in December, but it ended up being that I'd done daily content for like 20 days before that as well. So it's pretty nuts. Yeah, it's been a lot of work, but it's been good. I'm trying to sort of mix up a lot of the content that I put on in terms of just stuff. I've got a few guitars coming up that I shot at home here that have never been seen on my channel before, so it should be fun. Alright, Wade from Central Texas. Have fun, guitar player. How are you, man? Is that Neo? Is that the name? XX Neo from Peru. How are you, man? Terry from Tennessee. Wow, lots of people alive tonight. Oh, I don't know. You know what? I haven't even checked YouTube. I've been literally fixing my computer back this morning. I plan on doing a hangout, but that's the computer I like to do that from. So it's one of those things where if I'm using this computer, it doesn't sort of do quite as well. But anyway, it'll be back up. So the community hangout is still, I think, going to come up. It was supposed to be today, but I think it's going to be next week. My mic stand's moving. So I had a lot of people ask me about the second part of that recording an album video. That's coming up. I've got that on my SD card sitting over there at the moment, waiting to go on the computer. I've added some more guitar parts. I still haven't got any bass, but I think there's some acoustic parts on there and all that kind of stuff as well. So that's pretty cool. Who else is live? I haven't even checked. Maybe I should have checked before I went live, but it doesn't matter. I'm sure it'll be all good. Alright, howdy from California, from Joe. Awesome stuff. Alright, my thoughts on Bugera amps. I think for their price, they're really good. I like their V5, which is the one I've owned. I've played a V22 when I was in San Francisco about 6 years ago, 7 years ago, something like that. I had a chance to play one. I think I put a live demo clip of it up. I found it to be a pretty dirty sounding amp and very heavy for their size. I haven't tried any of the recent models, so I've only played that particular old one and my V5 Infinium. You know what? If I see one for a bargain, if I can pick one up like I could one of those Silver Stripe Bandits for $100, I'll probably get a V22. I'd also like to try the 55 because I think they got the 6L6 valves. I'm a big fan of those. Video's good, audio's good, yeah, cool. I tend to keep my live streaming rig pretty consistent. I don't change much other than the microphone from time to time. I don't like wasting half an hour setting stuff up. I just plug it in and go. So, cool, thanks. Hi from Luxembourg, Belgium. That's from Sid. Cool, man. Great audio video stream. What's my favorite blues song? Oh, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. I like different songs for different reasons, you know, like there's a lot that come to mind. You know, Born Under a Bad Sign's pretty close, even though that's not a typical 12 bar. It kind of is. It's just a twist on it. That's a really great song. Oh, man, you know, I really love Albert King and Stevie Ray Vaughan's Blues at Sunrise. That's a great tune as well. That live one that they recorded in Toronto. Wow. Yeah, I don't know, man. I got a lot. I can Double Trouble live off Clapton's 80s live blues disc. I don't know, I got a lot. I couldn't pretty much narrow it down to one. I think the song that really made me want to play guitar was actually Clapton's Blues Before Sunrise as well, off the From the Cradle album. When I heard that, I just went, wow, that's Eric Clapton. So yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah, but I got lots of favorites. There's no doubt about it. I love a lot of the Van Morrison stuff that he did as well, the blues stuff. There's just so much great stuff out there. And then moving into the more modern stuff, you know, Michael Burks is probably one of my favorite more modern guys who unfortunately passed away, but dude's great, you know. Sean Costello's another guy worth checking out, but Chris Kane's probably my favorite current guy. Let's just put it that way. Alright, so we've got 102 people watching. If you enjoy the live stream, please give it a thumbs up, guys. Appreciate that. We got Tracy. Have I tried the PV Classic amps? Yeah, I've tried all of them at one point or another. My camera's not centered. Which way's in the middle here? I don't like stuff like that. I'm too OCD. Let's move into the middle. Is that better? Alright. Yeah, so I've tried the new Classic 30s, the Chinese-made ones. I've tried the Classic 20 head. In terms of the old ones, I played a Classic 30 live about 3 or 4 weeks ago. It was good. I really liked it. It's got that sort of, you know, chimey kind of thing going on, but it works really well. One of the best amps of all time, in my opinion, Classic 50 410. You get a chance to play one of those if you can lift it. They're amazing. Alright, Texas Flood, SRV, yeah, great tune, absolutely. You know, I really like songs like Little Wing, which are still considered bluesy, but not traditional blues. There's too many songs I've listened to over the years, like Freddie King, man, Albert Collins, there's just so many great tunes, absolutely. Live Thursday night in San Francisco. Yeah, I've got both those albums from Albert King, Wednesday and Thursday. Or is it Tuesday and Wednesday night in San Francisco? Whatever they are, I got 2 of them sitting on my shelf over there. Alright, so let's take some questions here. Well, one of my thoughts on the Unreal Vibrato of the late Jeff Healey band. Or had, sorry. You know what? I'm going to have to have another listen, because I don't listen to a lot of Jeff Healey. Not because I don't want to, just because I haven't. Christopher from Katy in Texas. Is it that she got the key there? Alright, how to dial in the woman tone. Just roll your tone control off and turn up the volume. And maybe add a little bit of gain if you want, but yeah, that would be the way to do that, or get some preamps put in your electric guitar if you're not playing humbuckers. Alright, what's the best advice I can give to an intermediate guitarist? Anything on soloing? Try to learn the stuff that inspires you to play, and don't waste your time with anything else. Just pick out little bits and pieces from your favorite players and play it until you can play it without even thinking about it twice, and then move on. Don't learn too much too soon. Alright, thanks for the thumbs up, guys. That went up a bit. That's cool. Hattie from Malibu, California. Have you tried the Katana head? You know what, I haven't. I've got an opportunity to pick one up and test it at some point. So I'm going to get that. I'm going to get the, what do they call, the Marshall Code head, the 100 watt head as well. I want to try that. And yeah, we'll maybe put them side by side and see what they got. Someone asked me before, I think I missed it. Oh yeah, here we go. Seth says, how does the Boss Katana 50 handle external pedals? Probably okay on the clean channel. I've only tried the 100. I'm just making an assumption that it would probably be fine. The 100 watt single 12 one that I've used and tested handles pedals way better than the Mustang GT does. So if you want to use pedals, they're not bad for that, absolutely. But you know what? If you haven't bought the amp yet, just keep your eye out on the second-hand market. Just get a PV Bandit. I mean, realistically, they take pedals extremely well. So modern guys like Kirk Fletcher, yeah, Kirk Fletcher's great. All right. Sonia from Odessa, Texas. Cool, I haven't heard of that before. Outskirts of town off Albert King's live Thursday night in San Francisco's filthy. Yeah, it's good. Lando, how are you, man? Alright. It's buffering really badly. Okay, let me have a look. If my stream is glitchy, let's have a look here. I just upgraded. Oh, I am too. Alright guys, hang on, what I'm gonna do. Damn it. My video is glitchy. I've got red on my thing, which I don't normally have here. So give me a few minutes, I'll sort that out and I'll come back. That sucks. That really sucks. I think I've just upgraded my streaming software, like literally 5 minutes ago. I think I might have defaulted a few settings which I don't need. So damn it. Sorry guys, give me a couple secs. I'll come back in a minute. I'll just see if I can actually do it while I'm here. Hang on. Oh man. That's really weird. It's really weird. Let's see if this helps. See, our problem in Australia, amongst other things, is our internet sucks. Our upload speeds are awful. Alright, I'm back to an orange light, which is usually what it sits on. So, let's see if that helps. I think it should be good now. Yeah, I understand how to live stream. Someone just says lower the bit rate. I've been doing this for ages. I think what also might be happening is while my computer over there's sort of populating all of its programs again, it might be kind of glitching my upload. Let's see if that works a bit better now. Sorry guys. It should be okay. I reckon that should be good. Yeah. I've got green light over there, which means I should be fine. I had a red light over there before. Alright. It's cool now. Alright, so we're back. I've got a whole lot of pedal demos coming up, which I know a lot of people are probably sick of, but I've got the Dan Electro stuff coming up. I've got 3 pedals from Lunarstone, which are unbelievably good. Those things just totally blew me away. So those are coming up. I got Guitar Search Saturday about 3/4 of the way through. That's with Pixie as well, Pixie Licks, Steve. So that should be fun. And what else is coming up? I've got a couple of other guitar and amp demos on the way as well. I still haven't done the demo for my Red Stripe PV Studio Pro 112, but those amps are so good. Hab says, gonna head to the music shop. Love your videos. Thanks, man. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Alright. I thought I was editing your live streams. Yeah, I don't know what was going on there. Basically, The OBS software that I use to stream to YouTube is very particular when you have a relatively low upload speed, and I'm doing this through a HDMI video camera instead of a webcam. I could use a webcam, it would work fine, but it looks crap compared to this, so I try to use one of my good cameras. This is like my old video camera. I just use this for streaming now. It sounds like water falling. Yeah, that background fizz is my fan. That's it's over there. Unless it's, yeah, I could turn that off, but yeah, I got a big fan sitting on the floor over there. I can turn it off if it's annoying. Just let us know. Alright, so in terms of some of the live clips that I'll be doing, hopefully tonight I'll be shooting some more live clips with a couple of the guys. So we'll take some gear up and we'll test it in a live situation. I'm almost going to try and twist my friend Brian's arm into trying out one of my little Studio Pro amps, and I'll use the other one, and we'll see if we can get some live footage of those. See how they sound with pedals, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I just steam cleaned my carpets. It's exciting stuff around here today. So the carpet's kind of damp, so I've got the fan on, just blowing some air around. But it is warm. It's been good here lately. Panos says, "Hey Shane, is an effects loop an important thing in your amp? Love your video. Greetings from Greece." It only is if you plan on using a lot of delay pedals and reverb pedals and all that kind of stuff. If you're not, you don't really need one. I never use effects loops in amps, and all of my amps have effects loops. I just don't use them at all. I think it's, if you're playing blues, you don't need it. If you're playing classic rock and all that sort of stuff, you don't need an effects loop. This is just my opinion, unless, of course, your amp doesn't have reverb at all and you want to use reverb. I think reverb works way better in the effects loop than it does into the front end. But delay doesn't always, in my opinion, sound better in the effects loop. It's subjective stuff. I kind of like what delay does going into the front end of your amp. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't think they're necessary. I only think they're necessary if you're playing a particular type of music. Hey, where was that other question? Scamp says, "Do you think Fender blame you for crap GT200 sales?" I don't know. I don't know if they're selling poorly or not, but if they made a better product, a lot of the non-biased channels will review it positively. So, you know, that's just one of those things. But they fill a need for people. They're light and they're loud, and if you want every effect under the sun, that's what you get. You know, if you're just going to buy one for home use, it's kind of overkill, unless you're buying one of the smaller ones. But I don't know if they blame me for putting out an honest review. I'm hoping that feedback will actually make their next one better. That's the plan. They should have sent them out to a lot of us beforehand, even just a trial and give feedback on it. I think they basically tried to spread, you know, the word through just a handful of people or channels, and you know, I think that sort of, it convinced me I wanted one, so it worked. But you know, the difference is between me and everyone else is I got an audience as well, so I can, once I knew I bought a dud, I was like, you know what, this is my review of it. So if they make a good one like they did with the prior generation, I'll be right behind it, because I love you know, the Mustang 3s and 4s from the version 2s. They were awesome. Alright, I have a Marshall DSL 5C and it doesn't have reverb. Reverb is essential through the effects loop. Cool. Hi from Ireland. We're freaking freezing here. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, my friend moved back to England. She's sending me photos of it snowing and all that. I'm like, man, I went for a swim the other day, so it's crazy. Alright. PV Bandit or Boss Katana? That's one of those questions that just means, like, if you already have effects, buy a PV Bandit. If you don't, get the Katana. Or if you don't like using effects at all, it's one of those questions that it's up to you. Which one do you like the sound of better? For me, I still prefer my Bandit, because I know the drive channel works, and while it might not have a million different options, it doesn't really matter because it works and sounds good. Have you already told any advice, or did I miss it because of the lag? Just if you got any questions, Sid, just let us know, man. Yeah, I had some streaming issues, but it looks like it's sorted out. I just had to lower my upload rate on my OBS. It must have been set to default, so. Any thoughts about, how do you say that? Fred? Is that how you pronounce that? I don't know. Never heard of him, Martin. Sorry, man. I just saw an ad come up, actually, in front of another video I was watching, where they've got these guitars that you can flip over, and there's a guitar neck on the opposite side. So it's essentially like two guitars in one. You've got a 12-string and a 6-string. So you just literally flip it over and you're ready to play. The other one is a bass guitar on one side and a 6-string guitar on the other side. And it's kind of set up so the necks have spacing between them, so you can actually put your thumb in there and all that kind of stuff. It's not like just one big fat neck. So the bodies are like one part or joined or something like that, and then it's just got two separate necks, but it's back to back instead of high, and I think that's really cool. Odds are you'll see that ad pop up. If it popped up for me, it'll most likely pop up for everybody that that also watches gear videos and all that as well. Joe says, is it summer where I am? It is. Summer, like Christmas time here, is really hot normally. It's great. We're going to have Christmas at my place this year because I'm, not far from the beach here, so. Alright, so Have Fun Player says, I've just bought a bunch of pedals from that cheaper pedals channel you used to do. Oh, cool, man. Have I tried the Caitlin Bread plate reverb yet? I haven't. That's one brand I don't really see around a whole lot where I go in Melbourne. I just haven't had a chance to see them anywhere. Have I tried the JHS Superbolt? I'm pretty sure I did a demo of that. I need to double check, but I'm pretty sure I got a demo up maybe 4 years ago or something. What is my favorite Christmas movie? I reckon Die Hard. But a lot of people don't class that as Christmassy. I guess because it's a full-blown action movie. But yeah, it's a Christmas movie. I like that, and National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I don't get sick of either of those two movies. Alright, so any thought? Oh, sorry, yeah, I already covered that one. Does a home user need an amp or just a nice audio interface with some software? That's from Zavonmia. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Either's fine. You don't need an amp to play guitar. You can play an electric guitar unplugged. That's how I used to practice all the time. It helped me work on my attack. But yeah, a lot of guys won't even use amps. I mean, Steve Pixie he's a great example of a guy who doesn't even demo pedals with an amp. He just uses software. Yeah, so you can get around that no problems at all. When I do my live Facebook streams, I generally just plug into my sound card, and I've got Bias. I've got an account on Bias, so I just use one of the amp Marshall Sims, and that's it. So there's plenty of other ways you can do it. You can even get a headphone amplifier, like you plug it into your guitar, plug your headphones into that, and you can dial in like you can get Vox ones or all these different types. And they're like $40, and if you're limited on how much noise you can make, the software or some other interface is usually a good thing to use. Do I speak any languages besides English? Nah. I understand a bit of Italian, just certain things about it. I understand a little bit of Spanish, but I don't speak anything else. Love Christmas Vacation, sliding down the hill. Yeah, it's awesome. What pickups do I have in my 52 tally? So I had Joe Barton pickups in there for years and years and years, and then I played all those custom shop tallies, and I went, man, these single coils sound pretty nice. So I had a set of MJS custom pickups wired for me to meet my specs, so I'll type it in so you can check them out. I spoke to Smitty, the guy from there, for about an hour on the phone. It should be on my review. I thought I covered all that stuff, but type in MJS custom pickups Telecaster. You'll see my most recent demo come up. I go into a little bit of detail about how I decided on those ones and all that kind of stuff. So I measured the output of my favorite pickups, used that as some sort of guide, and I knew what I was looking for when I actually ordered the second set of those, as opposed to the first set, which was just sent out for videos. I didn't really have any say on what was coming out, which they were great pickups actually in retrospect, but these ones I actually had made specifically for a certain type of sound and all that kind of stuff. So, what's the best valve amp you've ever owned? Look, I've owned a couple of really good ones. I mean, best is, you know, depending on your mood at the time, but I've owned, Two Rock Studio Pro 22 was pretty good. I had a 35 for about 2 days, but that was faulty, so I took it back. Super Reverb, still up there as one of the best amps I've ever owned. The Blues Deluxe has to be the best, because I still feel like, while they come off the shelf and they don't always sound great, you change the speaker and they sound better than most boutique amps do, especially when you put a good speaker in that works, captures, and sort of, neutralizes the ice pick, but makes the low end more usable as well. So you can chuck in like a Texas Heat or a Swamp Thing, or even a Creamback's a little too bassy for those amps in my opinion, but you can throw in almost any other speaker and they're amazing. I think one of the best amps actually that I ever owned was a Supersonic 60 combo, and I replaced the Vintage 30 with a ET65 back then, a WGS speaker, and that was awesome. But that was right when I had a really bad back, and I remember I hurt my back twice lifting that amp up. I won't hurt it now because I've been, working on my back and all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, back then, that was one of those things that really wrecked my spine, so I sold it. And it was a huge regret, actually. The Supersonic 60 was probably, I like that more than my 2-Rock. And I don't know, I almost would prefer it over my Super Reverb to some extent, just based on its usability. You don't need pedals, you can just plug in and go. The drive channel's great. When I shoot a guitar demo or video, do I mic the amp, or do you have a video camera that just records the soundtrack? So the only thing that comes through the video camera is my voice. I use a wireless pack, which I don't... Oh, the other end of it's over there. So I used to use shotgun mics and all that, but I don't really like the sound of them. I just find them irritating, because if you turn around, they're always out of shot or away from your mouth. So usually on top of my camera is a little wireless receiver. I usually wear a shirt mic, and that's the only thing that gets recorded to the camera. I don't do what other guys might do, where they record directly to the camera. The preamps on cameras suck, and it's really fiddly, which means I got to use mixers and all that. So I record the audio just straight to my computer in my other room, or the audio from my guitar, I should say. Andrew says, have I ever tried a Fender Supersonic? Yep, tried them all, except for the 100. I've owned a 60. Awesome. Strat bridges or Gibson bridges? What are the main differences when it comes to playing? Look, I mean, are you talking about just the actual bridge part itself, like the Tune-o-matic bridge versus the tremolo, or are you talking about the pickup? In terms of the hardware, I don't even think twice about that sort of stuff. A lot of people will pick up some guitars and they'll be all out of sorts. I guess because I've been lucky enough to pick up a lot of guitars over the years and just try them, at shops or whatever. Not left-hand, like when I'm at Jerry's, for example, I play 50 left-handed guitars and I can get my way around them pretty quickly. The main advantage of the Gibson bridge or you know, tunematic bridge or whatever, is the fact that they're locked down. They don't move. With the Strat ones, you're going to have to, if you don't want it to move, you're going to have to lock the springs down or you know, add another spring just to give it more tension, all that kind of stuff. So that's a pro or a con. It just depends if you want to use the whammy bar or not. I look at the only guitar I've ever used a whammy bar on right now is the PRS SC. I haven't bothered with it up until now. That actually works. On this next section of the recording an album, part 2 or whatever it'll be called, I use the whammy bar on the recordings I'm doing, and it stayed in tune great. It's really good. Kristen says, my favorite tube amp is still his old Harmony 410. Cool. What are my thoughts on humbucker, or thoughts on neck humbuckers in tellies? They can be either really great or not very good. Try and find one that doesn't sound like a 72 thin line telly. I know that's going to offend some people, but those pickups generally in a 72 thin line are pretty muffled sounding. I've seen and heard a couple of 52 relic tallies with humbuckers, and they sounded just unbelievably good. So it really depends on the pickup. My thoughts would be, don't go for anything too modern, because a lot of people will want modern pickups, but they don't, or they generally don't sound as nice or as clear, even with dirt, as older style pickups. So something from the 50s or 60s will give you a pretty good sound, that kind of style of pickup. Wally in the box says, I enjoyed your live gig jamming with your green PRS. Thanks for sharing. So, thanks, Wally. Thanks, man. Tonight, all being well, I'll take up a couple of my cameras and try and bring some gear and film some more live playing. I don't know if I'll be playing as inspired as I did last week, but those weeks where I'm itching to play, usually, hopefully something good comes out. So if my friend Brian's there as well tonight, I'll plonk a camera in front of him, and you can be amazed how good this guy is. He's unbelievable. So and also, if any of the guys that are on those videos are watching this, thanks for letting me use your you know, let me post those videos too. So I had to email or text message all of them and ask, you know, do you mind being on YouTube? Because, you know, some people get a bit funny about that, but it was all good. Alright, so Lynette Guitar says, hey Shane, did you try or do you know about the Fender 2017 limited exotic collection? I don't know those actually. So yeah, I'll have to look into them. I don't know that one at all. One of the Telecasters I had a chance to grab, or that Rick's demoed actually, is a sparkle green one. It's supposedly a NAMM exclusive or something like that. So the shop that I borrow stuff from have got a whole lot of those weird tallies that I'm pretty sure you can't find almost anywhere else. So I don't know if it's part of that series or not, but I'll have to look it up. Bought a PRS case for my Santana, sent it back because it's way too heavy. Any lighter alternatives? Yeah, just get a gig bag. I reckon gig bags are the way to go. I very rarely ever take a hard case to a gig. I just don't. I'm cautious enough to leave my guitar somewhere where they're not going to get crushed in my car. So the way I usually pack my car, and it's different for everybody else, but the boot, which is the trunk, that's what we call it here, I put my guitars in the back, in the boot, put my amp in the back seat. Depends on how big your car is, obviously, but I do it that way. And that way nothing's going to fall onto the guitars. You get a good gig bag, you don't need a good hard case. Like those Fender ones that I've got, the tweed hard case, for example, it weighs a ton. The best hard case that's light are the Fender ones, the TSA approved ones, those light sort of plasticky ones. They're really, really good. Or fiberglass, whatever they're made out of, they're really awesome. Alright. I'm about to get a new guitar. This is from Jerome. It'll either be a made in Mexico Strat or a G&L style model. I like them both equally, therefore can't really make up my mind. Yeah, that's one of those decisions you just got to make. Like, which one do you like the best? That's all that comes down to. It doesn't really come down to anything else. So, which one do you like the sound of? Which feels better? All that sort of stuff. If they both feel the same, buy the one you like the color of the best. I know in Australia, like, it's different for everyone else, but G&L's resale here is crap. If you ever decide to sell either of them, odds are you'll get a little bit more back for the Fender, but then again, the market's kind of flooded for the Fender stuff, so it's really, you know, it's a much of a muchness, really. You know, the ASAT ones, the ASAT or ASAT, however you say it, they're a phenomenal instrument. If it's one of those versus a Mexican Fender, probably opt for the USA ASAT ones. But if it's like the Indonesian G&L versus the Mexican Fender one, probably go for the Fender. Cheddar says, hey Shane and everybody, happy holidays. You too, man. Thanks for dropping in, appreciate that. That's a good question. Why are people weird about appearing on YouTube? For a few reasons. I'm cautious of where I appear on other platforms as well. Like, we used to have this show, put that in quotations, that used to just stream to Facebook without people's approval, or whatever you want to say it, whatever the word is I'm looking for. So they just turn up and expect everyone to want to be on their show. And after like 15 years of bringing up your musician profile, if you are stuck with a whole lot of bad players at a jam night and they film that and it's on the internet for eternity, it tends to bring down you know, you're only as good as the band around you. And if they're filming at a jam night and it's not very good, they don't want that online. I wouldn't want that online. So I always ask people, you know, are you happy for me to post this? And we all knew it was a really good night the week before. So, and plus, I would never post anything on my channel of other players that isn't good. Like, why would I do that? These other TV shows that just stream to Facebook, they don't know good from bad. They just do it to make money. So, people just don't want to have bad things posted of them for eternity. And I would be exactly the same. So, when it comes to live playing, at least, anyway. Mono gig bags are insane. Yeah. So in terms of like Les Paul guitars and all that kind of stuff, Gibson make one really poorly made gig bag, and then they make an amazing one which is a lot thicker, and they usually comes with their studio models now. Those are great. You can get your hands on one of them. They're an awesome gig bag for those kind of guitars. You can buy almost a gig bag for between 30 and, oh no, maybe not 30, maybe say 40 and 90 bucks here in Australia that are, you know, they're a no-name brand, but they're good. I'm going to put a video together about gig bags coming up, because I've got a number of them now, and some are really good and some aren't. So maybe I'll have a chat about like the pros and cons of all of them, different prices and all that sort of stuff. Isaac says, Fender resale is better if you can't choose a guitar between that and the G&L. Absolutely. The PRS gig bags are pretty heavy duty. That's from Great Vanzini. Yeah, absolutely. I love that bag. There'd be no reason for me to change it. One tip I'm going to give you too is a gig bag shouldn't open all the way underneath the guitar. And I made the crucial mistake of putting a guitar in a gig bag like that and didn't zip it up the entire way. I just thought it stopped at the corner. I picked it up, the guitar slid straight out, and lucky it didn't fall far. I caught it, but it hit the ground just with the bottom section of the guitar. And I stopped it. I was like, oh, so this is one of those gig bags that zip up all the way around, which is crap. So you want the zip to stop on the corner. So if you pick it up or don't zip it all the way under, you shouldn't need to zip it all the way under. That's the way I look at it. VB308 says, awesome work, Shane. We love your channel. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. yeah, I've been really trying to pump out the content for November and December, so I think by the time the end of the year hits, I'll have something like 52 or 54 videos in 50 days. I'm an idiot. I don't know why I thought that would be a great idea. But it's been a lot of work, but it's been fun too. It's been like, it's kind of daunting when you got daily uploads. So I'm like 3 or 4 days ahead of my schedule now, maybe more. I've got maybe 5 or 6 videos already preloaded, which was exactly what I needed to do, because I can edit on this. This is just a MacBook Air, but it's not very powerful. I didn't buy it to do video editing. Well, I kind of did, but nothing serious. But while my main Mac was getting reformatted, I was just lucky, you know, that I could actually not have to do any editing right now on there. Otherwise, I'd be, you know, I'd probably miss my window of opportunity for tonight. So I'm a few days ahead anyway. And I'm still open to things to demo as well. Basically, or comparisons and all that kind of stuff. So I had one of the usernames subscribers who, Guns and Bullets or something, maybe something like that. I can't think of the name exactly, but he requested a guitar video with a particular amp. So I've done that video. It should be up in the next day or two, maybe tonight. I'm not 100% certain. Is that a Christmas Carol? 50 vids in 50 days? Oh, yeah. All right. So the stream is buffering again. I reckon there's something else going on. Damn. All right. Let's take a quick look here, see if that's back to normal. Next time I do this, I'm gonna have to turn off my other computer. I think it might be pulling software down. It looks like it's cleared back up, but anyway, we'll see how we go. Alright guys, one sec. Alright. Alright, we should be good. I've turned off my, well, as if you've just joined the stream, what's going on today is, unfortunately, I had to reformat my Mac. I think it's pulling updates. It should be fine from now on, it's off. So here we go. Yeah, so the buffering, it'll buffer, anytime that there's low output on my side, it will buffer irrespective of what resolution you choose. That has nothing to do with, like, it's not going to stream at 240p if my upload's glitchy. So it should be fine now. I've got a green light over there, so here we go. Alright, sorry about that guys, that's twice. Maybe next time live stream using pigeons, it's probably more reliable. No, look at it. I very rarely have streaming issues, so I know exactly what's going on today. Hey, Jaden from California, how you doing? What do I know about the old Silvertone archtops? Not a lot, to be honest. Yeah, I haven't really had any experience with them. I've seen some of the old Silvertone amps, which are alright if you like a highly distorted kind of tube sound, but I don't think I've ever used their guitars or really seen any around. I might have seen some in a second-hand shop from time to time, but no, I haven't really seen any in person, or ever maybe seen a lefty anywhere. They're cutting everybody's bandwidth down. Oh man, our internet in Australia is so limited. I really have to work within my boundaries of what my upload speed is, and then I also have to take into account that if any other computer is pulling data, then it affects my stream upload. So usually I have to turn all my other computers off, apart from my streaming computer, which is on, and this. So yeah. Ray says, ever thought of doing a vid on microphones and their use, recording vocals, types, and when to use them? Yeah, I think I've done some microphone videos in the past, but maybe not to that extent. I've got a lot of mics. Over the years, over the last like 15 years, or maybe longer since I started recording, I've got probably 10 Rode mics. I got this one now, which I picked up with my PV Studio Pro, which I need to do a demo of. I'm using this for the new Guitar Search Saturday at the moment too. It sounds pretty good. It's different to my Rode mic. It's got a bit more sizzle on the top end, and I don't know. It's just an interesting sort of microphone. But yeah, I got a lot of different mics for different situations. Drum mics, 57s, Beta 57s, 58s, Beta 58s. I think I've still got a few of them. I sold a few. I don't know, I'll have to check, but most of the mics I have now are just Rode mics. I love those things. I reckon they're great. I'm surprised that internet is in Australia. It's still stuck in 89. Yeah, man, our upload speed here sucks. They're trying to rectify that. I think in the next 2 years we'll have this NBN broadband network, basically, which will be, I think, 30 meg upload. Thank God, man. You know what? Every video I upload's in 4K now, give or take. And every one of them takes between 1 and 3 hours, depending on how long it is. So that gives you an idea of how slow our internet is. It's terrible. So I set them up to upload when I go to bed or when I go out, because it's just a waste of time. Let's face it though, this live streaming stuff is really quite amazing. Absolutely. I love their live streaming platform, and it's not their live platform that is the problem. The problem is my computer was pulling data. If it glitches again now, I'll be pretty surprised. Then it means something else is going on that in my network that I need to look at. Here's a specific PV amp question. What model do you like best for recording, and what model do you like best for live playing? I mean, I haven't used them all live. All I know is after using a Classic 30 live and after using my PV Bandit live, I'll take my Bandit, believe it or not. I love the sound of it. It's louder and bigger, the cabinet's larger. So the larger the cabinet, the better the live sound. In recording, it doesn't matter so much. I probably almost prefer recording with a Classic 30 over a Bandit. But the best live tone I've ever heard out of a PV amp was their 410 Classic 50. Thing's a monster. It was unbelievable. I'd almost say that was a better audio experience than listening to a super reverb. So they're really good. It just depends on what sound you like as well. Like, I got a sound I can try to dial in on almost anything. So do you know any differences between Vox V8 451 and a Crybaby? Yeah, look, stay away from some of the Vox wah pedals. There is one that's pretty cool, but a lot of the other ones, I've owned them. They cut the top end off your tone, and it drops your volume slightly. I haven't noticed that with the Crybaby. A lot of people say that they can suck your tone as well, but like, I remember when Rick and I got together and we tested them both. And the Vox, I ended up giving it to somebody. I was like, I don't want this. What am I? It actually took out that much top end. So I used the GCB 95F. I love that pedal. There's only one wah I like more than that, and that's by Jam Pedals, and it's like $500. So I think the GCB 95F is the way to go. They're a bit more mellow. They sound like when you put your toe all the way down, and it gets high, it doesn't like cut your head off or get too splatty sounding. It's really cool. It's really cool. Aussie Drum 86 says putting a Gibson scale contour tally from parts. Oh, putting one together. Sorry. Will I go to hell for this? Mate of mine's actually got a. Is it a Strat? I think it's a Strat with a Gibson scale. So, you know, be unique. Go do it. That's awesome. I find the Crybaby Wah's Ice Pick. Yeah, absolutely. So that's what I was saying. The GCB 95s are way too spiky on the high end. The 95Fs aren't. They're two separate beasts. I own both. I tested them side by side. 95F all day. I've had that for years and years and years now. Clive says, I don't know what PV did with the Bandits, but they rock. Yeah, absolutely. They got them right. Anyone that says all solid state amps are bad haven't usually tried a PV Bandit in a live situation. They're unbelievable. It's funny because when I picked up the Studio Pro, the guy that owned it hadn't really used it or hadn't really plugged it in, and he played a Classic 30, and when I plugged in, he just sort of went, oh wow, that actually sounds pretty good. I'm like, man, you can't beat those amps. You know, they do that really well. What do I think of MIDI pickups? I haven't used any of that stuff, man. I don't know. Unless you really need to go into that kind of thing, there'd be no reason for me to ever put MIDI pickups in a guitar. I just don't, you know, for the stuff I play. Sorry to ask again, but I missed the answer with the buffering. I was asking about the Dasatronics Germanium amplifier pedal. Yeah, that's actually pretty good. I think it's a little, like, in a cool way. If you're looking for something that gets a little gritty, that's a really good choice. In terms of clean boost pedals, the ones that immediately come to mind, the Maxon Dual Booster, phenomenal pedal, probably arguably my favorite. The Booster Grande is another good one. Simple one control volume boost, gets loud. I'd almost put that over the Maxon. The Maxon's got two different modes. It's a regular size pedal but with two buttons, and that's what I don't like about it. But the good thing about it is it has a vintage clean volume boost, which takes out a little bit of high end, and to my ear that always works better than just having a full frequency clean boost. For me, anyway, that if you get it, use that, you can use it either pre or post your other overdrives. The Dasatronics one's really, like, his stuff is built extremely well. Like, that stuff's great. But I can't recall whether or not it's like a true clean boost. I think it adds a bit of something into the sound. Great Vanzini says, I'm looking for a Studio Pro now as well. Awesome stuff. I played a Bandit for years at small clubs. PVs are still great amps. Yeah, the solid state amps they make are great. They're arguably the best in the world still. I don't think their new ones are quite as nice sounding as the older ones. For whatever reason, whatever they changed isn't quite as nice. But overall, they still make great stuff. And the good thing is you can pick up this stuff cheap. And I mean, look at a lot of the stuff from the 70s, you know. You can almost pull up any video on YouTube and someone's playing a PV Bandit that wouldn't normally be playing a PV Bandit. So, all the 80s, I should say, as well. So there's a lot of guys that were playing them, you know, professionally as well. They're just a really good amp. Have Fun Guitar Play says, does it seem that players that have full-time careers never seem to have the ability to play with the more devoted players? I'm not sure what you mean, man. You mean like if someone has a full-time job on top of playing music, they don't play around much? Is that what your question is? I'm not too sure. Alright, just so you know, guys, too, the live stream filters out bad words. I've chosen to do it like that because of reasons. I like to keep my channel clean, so I can still read some of these comments, but I won't ask or say the question in the exact term a lot as well. So, just so you know. What are my thoughts on the Chinese-made amps? For me, amps made in the USA or UK are all I would buy. Look, basically, I don't think it matters that much on the most part. My favorite PV Bandit, is the Transtube ones. Are made in China, the red stripe ones. They were also made in the US as well, so either's fine. But those amps are super reliable. And I don't think too many people are going to be criticizing, like, you know, the Roland Blues Cube for not being reliable or sounding good and all that kind of stuff. So it just depends on what you buy. If you buy a well-known brand and it's lasted 20 years, odds are it's still going to last another 20 years. My problem with some of the new Chinese stuff is always first generation. If a company moves to China the first year, I'd be very skeptical of their tone or reliability. I'd like to see how they hold up before I jump on board and buy something that's just gone to a different factory straight away. And that's been proven with guitars. Some things change on guitars almost accidentally when they move factories. The position of the toggle switch, relationship of where the volume pots and tone pots are, and all that kind of stuff. So it's not always good to get the first generation of anything, but when you're talking about amps that are still around from the 80s or 90s or whatever, and they've lasted that long, they're fine, and they're made in China. Like, I couldn't care less. Absolutely. And there's a few things too, like a lot of speaker manufacturing has moved there as well. Not that they're better speakers, because they're what am I trying to say? Like, I know, say Celestion moved their manufacturing to China. They moved all of their production equipment to China. It wasn't like they were using different machinery and all that kind of stuff. I think they literally picked up everything, took it across, and planted it over there. So, you know, where is there going to be that much of a difference? That's my question. So yeah, I just think it depends. Would I buy an Aldi amp that's made in China? No. Would I buy a PV that's already 20 years old for $100? It sounds great, and I know it's going to be fine. I would, and I do. So I honestly don't think there's any real sound difference between, or reliability difference between, the red stripe one I have made in China and the USA made one, the silver stripe one. I think they're both really reliable amps. I've opened up the heads, had a look. They both look good. But it's also good to support, you know, like if you live in the States, I get it. Like, I would probably opt to buy something made locally, especially on the used market. That's a really cool thing. You can pick them up for the same price practically. So, but yeah, tone-wise, reliability-wise, in that particular case, and maybe Roland as well, I don't think it makes any difference. I mean, how many people had faulty Fender Mustang 3 version 2 amps? Hardly anybody. I very rarely ever saw someone say, hey, my amp's not working properly, on my comments. And I was probably posting the most watched Fender Mustang V2 amp videos on YouTube for a few years. So depends where it's made and who makes it and the quality control. I always go back to the phone thing. You know, everyone's got an Android or an iPhone. They're built well. They're made in China. Who cares? Alright, do I ever play Blackstar amps? I use a HD40 combo right now for small places. Sounds great. I don't. I've messed around with them once or twice at either a shop. I think I demoed a couple of Blackstar amps years ago. It was like a 210 combo, which was wild. Their single 12 combos aren't really my particular sound. They don't sound bad, but I know what I like, and I find those amps a little bit scooped on the mids, especially on the drive channel. The cleans in that are alright. If you're going to use your pedal board with them, for example, they're going to be great. But for the style, the exact sort of sound I'm looking for, the Blackstar amps aren't quite right for me, but that's just one of those subjective things. Everyone likes different stuff, and what works for me isn't what works for everybody, and vice versa too. So, but in terms of quality, Blackstar make good stuff, and I really like their small combos as well. The little practice amps are great. 3 Card Monty from New Jersey, how are you, man? Alright, so RS Guitar says, I think the location of manufacture makes no difference to the quality. There are bad factories in the US, just as there are in the Far East. Absolutely. And same with Australia too. You know, I won't mention too many names, but there's companies here who are in the music industry who make stuff, and they're not made well. And their name reliability isn't good. There's things that if they maybe move manufacturing overseas, it would probably improve. I think it just depends on who's making it and how long they've been doing it and their quality control, how many staff they have and all that kind of stuff. What is your favorite 1x12 pedal platform amp? Oh, definitely my if you're talking valve amp, I love my Blues Deluxe. I think that's just great. You know, I did a couple of gigs with my Super Reverb, and then did a couple of gigs with my Blues Deluxe back to back, and Blues Deluxe was just amazing. You know, you get to turn those up and they really sing, but not a stock Blues Deluxe. Change the speaker out and you'll get a killer sound. I also love the Bandit as well. You know, if you see me ever play live, sometimes I'm using a clean channel on the PV Bandit with pedals, or I'm just using the amp. Do I have any ideas for an affordable P90 Les Paul or copy? Yeah, get a Tokai. Depends where you live too, but they make a really great 56 reissue type of Les Paul with P90s, and it's arguably as good as my old Gibson used to be. So yeah, and they're about a third of the price, maybe less. There's a lot of fake 57s floating around. There are, and there's also some really great SM57 copies that you'll never tell the difference as well. So that's one of those things. You got to be cautious with some microphones, but there's certain copies of mics that have been around forever, and they sound and work great. I actually have a couple of them I've had for easily 10 years, and they're still working. They're still going strong. Have you not reviewed Orange Lunchbox amps, or have you considered them? I reviewed one of their practice amps, a little Micro Dark, I think it was called. But Orange is a brand that I don't have access to on the most part. I think I can get their practice amps, but that's about it. But I'll see what I can do. The shop where I borrow a lot of stuff from, they have a lot of obscure stuff sitting there that I didn't realize. Like, I think it's called Robot something. Robot, is that right? I don't know if that's right. They got diamond guitar heads, Carlsbro. They got like 4 amps that you don't see anywhere, or that I wouldn't see anywhere. So I might get all of them next time and have a play. If they've got any Orange amps, I'll see what I can do. All right. All right. So yeah, okay. Someone's just mentioned about the 57. So if you're talking about people selling 57s as real that are fake, that totally sucks. I'm 100% against that, right? If a company has a different name and they're selling them as its own brand and they're based off of 57, I don't really have any problems with that. If they're not trying to sell you a fake, if they're selling you their brand for less, then that's fine. So just make the distinction there as well. Imagery Art says, Shane has got me wanting a Tokai. They make awesome stuff. You just type in Tokai Guitars Australia. I know it doesn't matter where you live, but you can see their full range of guitars on there. Would I say that tone wood makes a difference in the sound of an e-guitar? I think that's just supposed to be a guitar. Not a lot. I don't know. There might be some sustained differences, but my theory is the hardware is going to have the biggest impact. Pickups, bridge, scale length, all that kind of stuff. The nut, pickup height, pots, whatever else. That probably will impact it more. Kenny B says Sky Music stock orange amps question mark. From what I've seen, and I could be wrong, they only have the little ones, like the micro ones. They have a lot of the PRS heads and all that as well. I don't know if I've really given them the time of day yet in terms of the PRS stuff. I might pick up one of their heads and have a go, but I'm definitely gonna find some more obscure amps to demo. I had a request, like, see if you can find some more random stuff. So that's the plan. I'll dig through their stuff and see what I can find. Which do I prefer, a Les Paul or a Strat? It depends on my mood and it depends what I'm playing. That's what it comes down to. Rhythm guitar, I'll take a Strat any day of the week. Lead guitar, in the frame of mind I'm in right now, I'll take a Les Paul. I love Les Pauls for lead guitar. They're not a bad rhythm instrument, but I find like you can Strats just sit in the mix really well when you're playing rhythm. They clean up better when you turn down. Yeah, it's just depends on my mood. That's the honest answer. You'll see me go like, oh, I love this. This is all I'll use for a while, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, man, I want that other sound. So I go back to the Les Paul, or I pick up the 335 for a while, or I grab now the PRS is kind of like my go-to favorite one. Or then I want to play Little Crow, or I want to play my Tally. I like all different sounds. I don't like one sound in particular. Your fan blowing over there triggered my jealousy even more while I was having a smoke on the balcony enjoying the rain. Yeah, sorry about that. The reason the fan's on is a couple of reasons. It's probably pretty warm outside again today, but I steam cleaned my carpet. So I want to try and encourage it to dry off quicker. It actually feels pretty dry already, but I'll leave it on. If you go to the US and buy guitars, does Australia charge you VAT? They can if you buy something worth more than 1,000 Australian dollars. The thing with that is though, like, I have to declare that I've purchased it. Like that's one interesting thing when you travel. I know a lot of guys that will buy guitars and just bring them back, and that's what they do. And they've never really declared that they bought anything over there. And I don't think the airlines are too busy to remember what you've taken with you. They don't really take note of that stuff. So I think a lot of the guys just sort of say, look, I already had this when I left. I took it with me. So, usually when I'm away, I try not to buy anything over the top expensive. I've done that a couple of times. When I bought my 52, I actually declared it. I think I paid like 150 Australian dollars back then in terms of import duty, which was like I saved over $1,500 buying it in the US back then. So I thought, you know what, for an extra 150 bucks, I'll do it legitimately, and we're all good. What do I think the impact will be if Guitar Center goes out of business? Not saying they will, but how would that ripple through the rest of the gear business? You know what? I think a lot of shops and a lot of businesses should just start selling direct from their own website. I mean, a lot of people are doing that already, but every company should be doing that as a fallback plan and get people used to that. I don't like buying a lot of stuff without having played it, but YouTube kind of helps sometimes work out what you like, and I've bought stuff just based on that recommendation. But the thing with Guitar Center is a lot of people, I mentioned this in my video, a lot of people don't like Guitar Center, but being a foreigner, I don't mind it. They got lots of stuff. All the brands that I kind of like are in there on the most part. The second-hand wall is great. I think you'll find maybe I don't think there'll be a replacement shop throughout the US that'll just boom because of it. I don't think there's anyone else that's anywhere near as big as those guys. I think you might find a lot more people will probably start going to different shops. Like, you might see more used guitar shops popping up, and that might be a cool thing too. But how will it affect the companies? I guess we just have to wait and see. I mean, you know, Guitar Center in the US isn't the only guitar shop in the world, really. I mean, there's thousands of, we've got hundreds of guitar shops in Australia that aren't at all affiliated with them, and Europe and you know, all of that will have their own as well. So I don't know if it will affect, say, guitar companies like Fender and Gibson and all that, because people will still buy them anyway. They'll buy them from wherever they can. It might affect smaller companies that, say, like, I don't know, I'll just throw a name out there, like Egnator amps. You know, if I know you could find them at Guitar Center for a while, and they had like a range of two or three amps. Would it affect their sort of bottom line? Probably. But, you know, I don't know. I really think, like, I know a lot of pedal companies just deal direct from their website, and I think that's maybe what a lot of other companies should start looking at. I don't think they'll ever actually close their shop, you know, their doors, but we'll see. Sweetwater in the US is making a huge mark. Yeah, Sweetwater is a great example of great customer service, a good refund policy, I'm pretty sure, from what I know about them. They throw a free bag of, like, you know, treats in with your first order or something like that. So they kind of, they sound like they look after you. We don't have that here, but that's one thing that Australia really lacks. We don't really have a Sweetwater. We've got a couple of shops that sell online, but they don't really get it or use it to their advantage. So yeah, there's a lot of issues with the Australian market, with distributorships and people who own companies and the rights to certain gear. It really limits a lot of these up. You know, it would really limit a business like that from doing extremely well here. Anyway. Not a lot of big stores here in Australia. Yeah, not anymore. I mean, we used to have Billy Hyde's that were everywhere, but there's music shops everywhere. I can go 5 kilometers in every direction and hit a different music shop. There's just one everywhere, or more. I mean, nearly every suburb that has a decent sized strip of shops has a music store. You know, there's quite a lot around. That's maybe an exaggeration, but there's one every, say, 10 kilometers you drive. 5Ks this way, 5Ks that way, whatever. So yeah, look, I haven't used Sweetwater before, so I can't really comment. They probably don't ship to Australia, like I said, due to all of these issues with distributorships here. But from what I hear, they're really good. Showman says, Jerry's Lefty Guitars, what a cool shop you have. Yeah, it's having access to Jerry's store's great. He literally just gives me the keys and says, here you go, do whatever you like. So he's a dude. He's an absolute dude. I hopefully we'll be able to get back there yeah, next year, all being well. So we'll see how we go. I've actually still got more clips of his I need to finish up. One video that I think you'll like, I test 3 1960s Lefty electrics. So it's a Fender Mustang guitar, an original Gretsch, Chet Atkins Lefty, and what's the other one? I can't remember, but yeah, it's pretty cool. He's got a lot of great stuff. Showman says, right up your alley, Fender tube amp for practice, something with reverb. Can be head or a combo, 15 to 20 watts maybe. This is not for gigs, just my man cave. Look, I mean, 20 watts is pretty loud for a practice amp. Even a Blues Junior might be too loud for most people's houses. But they're great amp for their price. They work well with pedals. You know, they're a hard amp to beat in terms of that wattage. If you're bumping it up to the next bracket, the Classic 30 would be a better choice. More output, bigger sound in a live mix, but just for using at home, you know, there's almost unlimited options. There really are. A lot of people swear by the what's it called, the Super Champ XE maybe, is that what it's called? XD. It's a really good little, that's sort of like a hybrid tube modeling amp combo that a lot of people swear by as well. But my suggestion would be get a 12-inch speaker amp. I've got a Bugera V5 with a an 8-inch. If it was 10 or 12-inch speaker, it would sound a whole lot better. What do I think of the BB amp preamp pedal? It's great. I used to own one. Really cool. Talon Floyd says, Shay might be right about Guitar Center. They might not be the best as far as knowledgeable staff. However, they carry a ton of different gear, plus used gear you can try out all in one store. Yeah, and that's what I like about it. I mean, I haven't really had any nasty salespeople experience, and I've spent maybe 2 years in the US over the last sort of 12 years. And I haven't really walked in there and had a really bad experience. Sure, there's people that don't know stuff that work there, but the difference is what most people tend to do. They go in there knowing what they want. And the salespeople probably know enough to get by with the majority of what they sell. But, yeah, I just haven't had a really bad experience in there. Even at the San Fran store, I've been in like 100 times. I bought a Boss Looper pedal from there. I bought a whole lot of stuff over the years. The Delta Lab pedal. I bought a Strat from there as well. A whole lot of stuff. I just haven't had any really that bad experience. And I was in the Sarasota, Florida branch recently, and the staff down there were really nice. So I don't know. It might be hit and miss between shops, but generally, I don't know. I like the fact you can go in there and play stuff, and that's going to be the thing that people will miss if they're not around and they don't have access to everything all in one shop. That's what they're going to miss. Sabrina the Scene Witch says, I just saw Tommy Emmanuel last night in Houston. It was sick. Yeah, he's arguably the best acoustic guitar player in the world. He's amazing, so I'm glad you liked it. He's an absolute freak. For the style of music he plays, he's unbelievable, you know, and he's played with everybody, so you name it. He's played with everybody. He usually doesn't sing much, he just plays, and what he does extremely well. 5-watt amp is a ton for my home studio. Yeah, you'll find 5 watts is plenty. Like my Bugera V5, I hardly ever use it on 5 watts at the house. I'll use it on either half wattage or 0.5 watts. So 15 is really loud. I remember when I got the Blues Junior that was faulty home. I turned it on and went, whoa, that's louder than I was anticipating. So, you know, if you can make a bit of noise and you're in a basement or something, then, you know, it doesn't really matter. But if you have to be cautious of your neighbors, 15 watts is way too much. A good little amp for home is a Princeton. You know, they're loud, but you can get a good clean sound out of them at a lower volume. But yeah. Lando27 Music says, I've been really happy with my PV Classic 20 head. Yeah, that's another good little amp. I had a chance to test one of those at a shop, I don't know, what, about 3 months ago now, and they're pretty good. Haha, here we go. Doug says, thanks for the Red Stripe Bandit tip. Just got one mint for 75 bucks. I tell you the trick with that amp, right? So if you're on the clean channel, just start with the EQ at 12 o'clock. So bass, middle, treble. Turn the trans tube thing all the way up so it's all the way to the right to allow it to break up less, basically. It's like a headroom control. Set the presence at 12 o'clock and just go from there. You'll probably find you want a little bit more bass. Mids is up to you, and treble you might want to notch back if it's got the stock speaker. With the drive channel on the vintage channel, turn the bass all the way to all the way up. Put the mids to about 2 o'clock and put the treble to about 10 o'clock. So like that basically, and you'll find and get the volume and drive up to about 1, and it sounds like the gods. It's really good. Do I still own an acoustic? I'd really love to get a Maton. All the ones I've played so far have been great in sound quality and playability. Did you want to demo some Matons? I've actually got a video that's in editing well, it wasn't editing until I had to fix my computer, but I've started putting that video together. So I've grabbed two mini Matons. They're both kind of the same guitar, but the pickup system's different. So I thought we'd go have a look and see how they sound against each other and stuff. I don't know if I'd buy another Maton guitar. I've owned one before. The great thing about them is they sound amazing plugged in. The downside of Maton guitars, and this is just my opinion, I don't think they sound very good acoustically. They always sound way smaller and way more boxy than they should. To put it in context, the what's the name of the brand? Not Martin. Taylor make a GS Mini, right? A small-bodied acoustic guitar. It sounds night and day louder and fuller acoustically than any of the Maton full-bodied acoustic guitars and their minis put together. Like it out-tones it just acoustically. It feels like it should be a guitar twice the size, right? But plugged in, the Matons are the best. So you're kind of trading off, like, how do you want to use it? Do you want to plug in and play live? Or do you want to just play acoustically at home? If you're playing acoustically at home, I wouldn't probably pick a Maton guitar. I just find them pretty lackluster, and I find their frets are way too small. I don't know why they keep using these micro frets. I'm not too sure why. I reckon Taka Mini make a better sounding acoustic guitar for much less than Maton. I like Maton as a brand, right? Like I said, if I'm playing live, I'll take a Maton any day of the week over any of these other brands. But if I'm recording an acoustic guitar, I'll take almost anything before I'll take a Maton. With a microphone I'm talking about. But live, their pickup system's phenomenal. Shane, what is the music college scene like in Australia? What are the music education trends, if any? You know what? I have no idea about any of that stuff. I know there's some schools that do music and all that kind of stuff, but I've never been involved in it, man. So I have no idea. I'm sorry. Thinking of swapping my AC30 for a 68 Princeton reissue. Well, if you want to downsize and have a smaller amp, maybe that's a good trade. I mean, price-wise, they kind of match up, unless it's an English-made AC30 where I'd expect you to get at least $1,000 on top of that trade. Pezboy60 says, I realized my Shane board, pedal board, consisted of almost completely of pedals you recommended. By the way, I found a PV Bandit Red Stripe for 75 bucks. Wow. So, hang on, did I scroll backwards? Or is that two people that picked it up for 75 bucks? Yeah, so, hope you're enjoying the pedals, man. That's cool. Alright. I might take a couple more questions and hit the road. So yeah, in terms of the Matons, yeah, not Martin. Martin guitars are different. So Martin guitars are a subjective thing. They're more expensive here in Australia by a lot. You're generally buying a better instrument on the most part. I still think the best acoustic I've played in recent times, well, there's a couple, but one in particular is the GS Mini. That is unbelievably good. It sounds phenomenal. The pickup system is not as good as the Matons, but tone-wise and feel-wise, they're not even close. And that's my honest opinion. There's something about the Mini Matons that just feels like they're $2,000, right? They're a $2,000 guitar, give or take, you know, a couple of $100. They just don't warrant. I mean, they're made in Australia, which is why they're expensive, but they don't feel like a really good quality instrument to my hands. They feel like something that's been knocked together. And that's, I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't feel like the kind of price you'd expect, or performance you'd expect from a guitar that price. Kenny B says, we have Victorian College of the Arts, Box Hill. Yeah, that's what it's called. I forgot what it's called. They take courses. We have an SAE for recording tuition. Yeah, I nearly did that at one point, actually, that Sage thing, but I guess I didn't. I just found like I could learn a lot without having to do it. But, you know, you always get value out of education, no doubt about it. Thanks, Shane. I played my acoustic plugged in mostly. Loved every mate, and I played, as I said. Yeah, absolutely. Plugged in. Hands down, like, I'm yet to find a pickup system I like more. In terms of, like, are they better than Gibson and all that? The pickup systems are unbelievably good. I actually recorded the demo using a compressor for the first time. I used one of those compressor pedals that I got sent recently. And it was so good. I never thought to use a compressor with an acoustic before, but it's unbelievable. So that'll be coming up. Yeah, Cole Clark guitars are kind of... Cole Clark are definitely nice guitars. Visually, they're much more aesthetically pleasing than the Matons. In my opinion, they look better. They've kind of moved with the times a little bit. I think overall, like, if you were to hold up one or the other and show someone, they'd probably go, hey, I want to try that one. You know, the Cole Clark has a particular sort of style about it that are it's pretty cool to look at. That said, I still think that, I don't know if their pickup system's as good. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, I like some of the things that Cole Clark have done with their acoustics as opposed to the Matons. I think their frets are slightly bigger. The designs are slightly, they're just different. So it's all subjective stuff. Do I play any slide guitar? No, I don't, man. I can get around a little bit, but nothing impressive. Am I going jamming tonight? Probably will. I'm going to take out my camera and see if I can film some of Brian's wizardry on guitar, if he comes. Mario says, hey Shane, how are you? I've recently got a Blackstar HD Studio 20. What do I need to know about using a vintage amp from the 60s and 70s? Are there any issues with electronics connectivity that I should know about? I just realized I don't know what a HD Studio 20 is. I'm not too sure, man. But generally, if you're talking about using it with some sort of external speaker or whatever, or some sort of interface, never turn a tube valve head on without having the speaker connected. So don't just turn it on and then connect the speaker, you'll blow the head. Always make sure you have a load connected to the head. That's the biggest thing you can be aware of with any amp. So Doug says, I really enjoy your videos. Thank you. Hey, no worries, man. Thank you. If you're enjoying the stream, folks, please give it a thumbs up. I'm not sure how many people are watching. There's probably about 100 or so. 122. Cool. It's been a while since I did one of these. I was going to do a live hangout today. Like I said, my main computer is just not happy. So I have to wait until that's sorted out. Is Maton the brand TE is playing? I don't know who TE is, but the only artist that's really well known with Maton is Tommy Emmanuel. I mean, there's a couple of local musos that might use him. I know John Butler Trio used to play, the guy from John Butler Trio used to play Maton for years, but I think he's kind of over to Cole Clark. I could be wrong. I'm not that big into the acoustic scene. So yeah, there was a brand of acoustic guitar I'm trying to think of that I played at Jerry's. It's made by, I think, Collings. It's like their sort of side brand. I think it's made by Collings. And they are unbelievably good. They sound unreal. I haven't played one plugged in, but acoustically they were just like, wow. Maybe I'll pick one of them up at some point down the track. I'm not too sure. But anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to finish up getting my computer back online. Sorry about the hassle with the live stream. It was definitely the fact that that computer was pulling data from the net. So apologies for that. I thought it wasn't going to auto-download stuff. Otherwise, I wouldn't have started streaming. So anyway, guys, so yeah, take it easy and have a good Christmas. I'll probably try and do one more before the end of the year. I'll jump on and ahead of time I'll put a notification up saying I'm going live, and a few days before. I know not everyone likes the live streams, but I always suggest people who don't like the live streams, just don't watch the live streams. It's that simple. It's funny, you know, like I notice one of the things that people say, oh, I find the live streams too long. I'm like, well, if you're not on the stream as it's live, it's not going to be as fun watching it back. That's just how they work. So, rock on, guys. Thanks again. Yeah, like I said, please give the video a thumbs up if you can. Appreciate that. Have a good, happy guitar Christmas, all that kind of stuff, or holidays, or whatever you celebrate. It's the 17th here today, so let me check my calendar. 17th. I might try and do one on the 24th. So, the day before Christmas here, which will be the 23rd if you live overseas. So, I'll try and do that. Take some videos of your gigs. Yeah, absolutely. You know what? I've got gigs and gigs of live footage from the last 12 months that I just have been too lazy to put together because I've been always doing other stuff. But tonight I'm going to film something. I don't know what, but I'll try and film something. And hopefully there's another live clip coming up. But thing is, that always relies on how the people that turn up around me, if they're good players as well. If they're not, it's a tough night. Anyway, guys, take care. Speak to you soon. And yeah, rock on, or blues on. Catch you soon.